about that, David, is that's probably a game you might lose last year, but the toughness and experience in the team, extra toughness and extra experience, got you home tonight?
Yeah, I don't know if we would have lost it last year. I think we won 5 out of our 8 close games, but we've experienced it and you'll learn from it. And I thought our last quarter, I know we didn't finish on the scoreboard, but I thought our last quarter to fight the game out the way they did. You can very easily get frustrated. You can dominate the play or own periods of the play, which we did for short periods at times. And when the score doesn't go on, sometimes it has a negative effect. But I thought our guys remained in the moment. They kept competing, and particularly the last quarter, I was really impressed with the last quarter.
You face a big task next week against Port Adelaide. So what did you like tonight that you can build on, and what also did you see that you need to really improve upon to really compete with the power?
We changed up structure a few times throughout the game, and I thought the way the players adjusted to that. We had an extra up at the stoppages, and Bose off the back was hurting us, so we went back to 6 forwards to engage him, and I thought that shifted the game a little bit at times. And then later in the game we changed again. I thought the way the players adjusted to it was really good. One of the things I am really looking forward to is our fans coming out next week. I can't wait to play against a great opposition in Port. I can't wait for our members and our supporters and fans to feel the G and make it as loud as they can, and give Port a little bit of their own medicine when we go over there.
How's Jack Silvani? Because it was a critical tackle, wasn't it, on Bose late that set up the Mackay goal? Yeah,
it was a great tackle, and that's one thing Jack's done really well. He's competed for the team, and he puts his body on the line. In terms of how it is, I actually don't know yet. I think it looked like he heard it straight away. It was instantaneous. So last time he missed a week, so I'm probably leaning towards it's probably something like that, but I don't know yet.
Is it one of those things with Jack that he just has to sort of manage, that it seems like it's the same shoulder? Is it just an ongoing thing that he's just got to...
Yeah, I'm probably not in a position to I don't want to say the wrong thing here in terms of my understanding of it, but I know the first week we thought it was going to be worse than it was, and by the time he was never a chance that first game, but by the second game he was ready to go again. So hopefully it's something similar. But I don't know. I'm not sure whether this time there's been greater damage to the inside or not. I'm not sure.
Also, Harry Mackay had a great week last week. It was kept pretty quiet in that first half, but are you happy with the fact that he sort of found a way to get himself in the game and get himself on the scoreboard?
Yeah, I did. I thought, and they're the little steps, the little growths, whether it's for a team or an individual. And he wasn't alone. There was probably a few other guys that probably hadn't had their best nights, but they kept competing and kept making sure that, particularly for Harry, I didn't see too many times the ball went in his area and we got outmarked. So his ability to get it to ground, I thought Gold Coast's ability to get numbers back into our forward 50, I thought they were very good at that. And at times we just needed Harry and Levi just to give us a contest, get it to ground and bring in our smalls, and I thought Murph, Gibbo, Foggs and Eddie looked dangerous at the fall of the ball. So it's a great challenge for Harry. Last week was an outstanding game, and you can't go out there expecting it, but what I thought today he did is he worked really hard on his craft, so I was happy with that.
Ed's anticipated my question about Harry, but moving on from that, did you have any instructions to the players about the conditions out there? Because it was obviously a lot of mishandling of the ball, a lot of fumbling. Pretty notoriously difficult up here.
Yeah, we've been reasonably good in the wet, and it turns into a bit of a wet game. We probably got caught. We probably stayed in dry mode for a little bit too long at this, in terms of going backwards and mishandling the ball and balancing up the contest for those conditions. But I thought, particularly in the last quarter, I thought the boys adjusted really well, and we started getting the ball from the contest forward, and we were able to keep it in our front half. Look, it probably took us a little bit longer than you'd love to, but what I did love is off the back, they just kept competing. I thought Jacob Wiedering behind the ball was outstanding. And he's probably not alone, but I think Liam Jones again had quite a few intercept possessions. So the backs, our back line probably got really challenged after the Collingwood game in the last 2 weeks. The way they've really bought into their role and getting their job done has been something that they should be really proud of.
Matthew Lloyd made a pretty big call earlier in the week. He suggested that Liam Jones was actually your best player.
Last week or on the whole list?
It was the beginning of this week. He reckoned
Okay.
Liam Jones-
If you're talking about last week's game, we gave him 5 from a coach's votes point of view. We thought he was the best on the field, as many shots as Harry had. It was a toss-up. It was a toss-up, probably in the best and fairest votes. They get similar, but we went with Liam as the best player on the field last week.
A word on Curno's game, David, like he had 8 clearances, I think, in his 30-odd touches. Like in a game like that, in those conditions, they're absolutely vital, aren't they?
They are, and we needed to be strong. We probably got our hands on the ball a bit more than that turned into clearances. I think Gold Coast beat us, particularly between the arc clearances, which was disappointing. I actually thought Mark Piernet's game was really strong. His follow-up and second efforts, not so much just the ruck work, but his follow-up and second efforts. But, I thought Ed was strong, but he was probably opposed to Noah Anderson a fair bit, and I thought he was pretty good. So it was a great battle. Probably someone with a bit more experience against an up-and-coming midfielder. I thought those two competed hard for both sides.
Lockie Coleman, right at the end of the third quarter there, I mean, he looked completely gone, but he came back out and played out the game. I mean, I'm guessing his knee's actually all right. He just sort of maybe gave it a whack and it was fine.
Yeah, it was a knock. Yeah, it was a knock. So it wasn't anything structural. So he copped a knock, and I think it was one of those ones that hurt when it really happens. And then once you get going, I think even by the time he got to the bench, he was coming off, and then he sort of gone, hang on, it's starting to feel a bit better. And he got a possession when he was on his way off. So, yeah, hopefully that settles down pretty well. And he's the way he was moving in the last quarter is a pretty good sign.